Hey everyone, Felipe here. Welcome to another Tower of Saviors GNN review video. Sorry this video is coming out a couple days late. I actually was moving back home to Colombia, so I have been packing and moving all my stuff all the way from the United States back to Colombia. So there's a lot of stuff that I'm figuring out, and this is my first night here in Colombia, so I am right now working around with my setup to make sure it's good for streaming and things like that. But for the meantime, I did want to get this review video going out for y'all, also because I am kind of curious to see the new cards and the new events coming out for this week. So without further ado, let's take a look at the new GNN news, which will include the One Punch Man with the Tower of Saviors collaborations, and we have Garou, which is probably an event mission given the title of the GNN news. So let's take a look. We have Ultimate Descent, Whirlpool of Rage, and new arena super skill character Warlord of Traits Lawson, which I don't think is a One Punch Man character. So we'll take a look at that. So starting with Garou, which is going to be one of the challenge missions. So 2 floors, level 1, level 2, pretty normal for a challenge mission nowadays. And let's take a look at his leader skill, which is going to be human attack times 5. When the team has only Garou, team attack times 5 additionally, HP and recovery times 3. By dissolving 3 or more type 2 runestones, team attack times 5 additionally. Honestly, this team leader skill is kind of bad. I mean, it is really good for meme teams and all of that, and it's also really representative of Garou's character in the anime because he is the lone wolf. He is the one gets like hunting everyone and like making sure that he's hunting all the heroes, and he operates alone. So it makes sense that his leader skill is going to be very selfish. The only problem with this is that you don't have any team skills that will help you break shields. You have multiplier on multiplier on multiplier, but if you need to break shield, you have nothing to go off. Because normally when teams or when leaders don't have team skills, don't have shield breaks, they do rely on their team skills, or they rely on their team members to break those shields. But because Garou is encouraged for you to run a mono Garou team for max damage and HP and recovery potential, that means that no matter what you do, you will not have access to those active skills that help you break certain shields. Maybe his active skill will mitigate this, but overall I do think his leader skill is going to be a little bit on the weaker side. And you can definitely use it, you can definitely clear stages with it. However, it is going to be a challenge because you are only able to run Garou, and I believe a 6 Garou team is the way to go, because you could technically run 2 leader and ally, 3, 4, 5, or 6, but if you run a 6 one, you do get the most damage out of it. So now let's take a look at his active skill, which is going to be a CD6 active skill, Water Stream, Rock Smashing Fist, which is the same skill as Silverfang, but because he's the disciple, he is his disciple, we do have another active skill here. For 1 round, for every group of attributive runestones dissolved, the character launches an extra attack of that attribute, okay, not bad, to the max 6 extra attacks for each attribute. For every group of heart runes dissolved, the character launches an extra non-attributive attack, as much as 1.5 his own attack, to the max of 6 extra attacks. If an enemy is defeated, Garou enters a hyperstate for 2 rounds. So honestly, this is a pretty good active skill, but like I said, in terms of his leader skill playstyle, this is absolutely really bad. So now that we have that out of the way, this is a really good skill as a member for other teams. The reason he's bad, the active skill is bad for him as a leader, is because it doesn't break any shields, which means you encounter an enemy with a shield that you cannot break, you're done. So anyways, we'll just keep going from that. But I do think this is a really good member skill, and this is because there's a lot of damage outputting here. You have extra attacks, but it's also the utility that you get multiple attribute attacks in one shot, or in one character. And CD6 is actually pretty fast. Nowadays we haven't seen them as much, but there was a period in time where Madhead really liked including enemies that would only take damage after they take damage from all 5 attributes. That means you either run a full rainbow team and only rely on your last character to deal the damage, or you run characters that can launch attacks of multiple attributes, like the Water Pui Molcar. You do have like the Pegasus Seiya, you have Ouroboros, the Fire Demon, things like that. And because of that, you would put them in the second slot, and then that would allow the rest of your team to deal damage like that. So the characters that I mentioned right now, so Pui Molcar is Water type, Ouroboros is Fire Demon, Pegasus Seiya is Light Human. Dark Humans, I don't think there's too many that can help you launch extra attacks of different attributes or all 5 attributes. So Garou is going to be a really good utility card in the future for members that will require this type of 5-element attack shield. So for that, I do recommend getting Garou. You only need 1. If you want to get more, it's because you want to run his meme team. But overall, I do think he is good with just 1. And he does launch a lot of attacks, and they're also really powerful because it is 1.5 times his own attack, where normally extra attacks are 30% strong, 50% strong. They're not 1.5 times strong. So this is stupid damage. So definitely get to dual max this card because he will be a really good member in the future. Not super broken, but you will definitely appreciate having him in your inventory when the time comes. So next, we have a Garou exclusive Dragonware, which, I mean, extend runestone by, oh, it's a 3-star Dragonware, okay. Dissolve, extend runestone movement time by 1 second, human attack times 1.5, and attack 1.5. So definitely, this is a good Dragonware for him to have, and you want to always run it with him, because his main damage will come when you activate his skill, and he gets an additional 1.5 attack multiplier when you activate his skill. You're not gonna run him as a leader, so don't worry about this one, but definitely go for his Dragonware. No brainer. It's just free stats. Might as well get it. But yeah. Event missions, Shatter the Meteor. Wait, they didn't have this in the... Wait, what is this? From October 10th to 23rd of October 7th, there will be an event mission, Shatter the Meteor. 3 floors. Okay, by challenging high level floors, triggering Shatter minigame. Okay, 100% chance that the minigame will trigger. In the minigame, ooh, and this gives me like flashbacks to the Hatsune Miku minigame with the craft being like the Dance Dance Revolution, basically. That was really fun, rhythm game. So welcome any minigames as long as they're not as super frustrating as a freaking move the character and he doesn't get hit by the moving things, because that was buggy as hell and hard as... Anyways, had a shit. But yeah, summoners who clear the Shatter the Meteor minigame will receive fruitful rewards such as silver summon coupons and black keys. They reach certain scores. Okay, cool. So basically, free rewards. Free rewards. And that's it. Okay. Yeah. So we still haven't gotten any news on the Ultimate Stage or Nightmare Stage for One Punch Man. So it looks like this is all the news about the crossover for the One Punch Man collaboration. And then the next things are not gonna be relevant to the crossover event, which means that the following effects will be available for everyone globally, and you will not have to use a VPN for the next for the following events. But yeah, pretty short GNN in terms of One Punch Man news. So let's get going with the new Ultimate Stage, which is going to be a Whirlpool of Rage, and this is going to be a boss monster for the Crystal Octavius series. We've recently gotten the challenge Tournament of Duels, which is Crystal Octavius. We've had 2 bi-weekly cards, which are Crystal Octavius, and Madhead is releasing more support for Crystal Octavius members. So Jillian Tentacles Oliver will be bringing out the Ultimate Stage, looks like it. He kind of looks like a Kraken Cthulhu type of monster. So we'll take a look at what he. Oh yeah, family of Oliver, Wanda, Mia, and Mick. Yeah, Wanda, Mia, and Mick. So we technically have all the Crystal Octavius members. That's pretty good. Okay, so Fire Elf. He doesn't look like a fire elf. He's an octopus. I mean, all of them are octopi, I guess. I thought he would be water, maybe. I don't know. Anyways, he is going to be a fire elf with a CD7 active skill and has the following effect. Character launches 3 extra attacks, 1 for water, fire, and earth, as much as 2.5? 2.5 of his own. That's a lot. Anyways, the character's damage will be dealt regardless of duo and trio elemental shield, and the skill stays in play until activation or defeated. Yo, upon the upon the activation, stun all enemies to inactivate them for 1 round, and skill cooldowns of Crystal Octavius members -2. That is really, really good. The only downside is that the other Crystal Octavius members, I don't know, they're they're okay, but they are all very replaceable and they're not broken, which means that you do want to run other team members if you're running Mono Elf. Like, don't get me wrong, this is like an insane amount of damage. Like I was saying earlier, extra attacks are usually 30% strong, 50% strong. We recently just got Garou, which is 1.5 times attack, but this guy is 2.5 times attack, and it's 3 attacks, which is going to be pretty good damage. But I think his main utility is going to be getting rid of the duo and trio elemental shields, which are a little bit easier to satisfy, so there's not that much utility there. But I think what's gonna make him really, really broken too is the ability to stun enemies when you deactivate him, and also when the CD reduction. You know what? Actually, not that much, because this skill cannot be deactivated at any time, which means that when you deactivate it, you still have to wait 7 rounds for it to come back up. So actually, this skill is not as broken as I thought. Now that I'm reading it a little bit more in depth, it does look like it is going to be a good skill. But I do think he is not that broken. It's pretty good. It's good damage. Do on True Elemental Shield. I think the -2 will help reduce his own cooldown, so this becomes a CD5 skill, which makes it a little bit more usable, but I think overall there are so many more elf members that can help you deal more damage. For example, Shy Plant is a ×2 for the entire team, so that is going to be a bigger boost than 2.5 times extra attacks, in my opinion. Because you have 6 members times 2, that's a 12 times multiplier. This is a, I don't know, 3 attacks at 2.5. Not that much, I don't think. Yeah, so actually it's comparable. Anyways, I am rambling right now, but overall, TLDR, this skill is good, but not super broken. And I mean, sure, get it. There's no detriment at dual maxing him, but I also think that there are so many more elf cards that might make it into your team for more utility and things like that. The stun though, the stun is really nice, but that's a 14 cooldown stun. 14 round cooldown because you have to activate it once, then activate it again. So trade-offs. If you have Daji, his skill is ready from the get-go, so you could technically activate him and then deactivate him 7 rounds later, but that's still a lot to wait for. There might be better cards there. So Arena Redemption. Ooh, new arena reward. Warlord of Trades, Lawson. Oh god, you look like every villain in any isekai anime ever. Yeah, anyway, super skill character. Warlord of Trades Lawson is going to be a fire human. Yeah, that he looks like a fire human, and has a CD6 skill with a really long paragraph. So let's take a look. The character's attack will be lowered to 0. Team attack increases times 2. At the end of the round, runestones of a random attribute not of members will be turned into heart runes. If there are 5 attributes in the team, turn heart runes into runestones of the leader's attribute. Skill stays in play until deactivation or defeated. Okay, another buffing skill. And, oh, the skill can be deactivated at any time. Honestly, anytime that you see a skill that can be deactivated at any time, it's going to be super good, because that basically gives you the deactivation effect available to you at any moment that you want. So that is always going to be super good. So now let's see. When you activate this skill, character's current skill CD -2. Explode one type of runestones that are the most in number to generate enchanted human runestones. Okay, so he is not bad. Honestly, he has the same power level, I think. Well, not really, as Anubis pre-power release. So Anubis will boost your team attack by 1.5 or 2, I think, and then could be deactivated at any time, and upon deactivation his skill cooldown would go down. Actually, Anubis is still stronger because you would still get a buff when you deactivate it, and then you could stack both the deactivation buff and the activation buff together. But this one's still like not bad. Like this is like a notch lower, but he is still pretty good in terms of damage buffing. As I was saying, a team-wide buff might end up being better than a single character's buff, which means that this card, CD6, is actually pretty standard nowadays, for a ×2 team-wide attack buff of ×2 is actually not bad. And the whole like turn runestones of a random attribute into heart might be good, especially because it will be targeting runestones that are not the ones that you need because you are not running those members, but could come and bite you in the butt if you're like trying to clear out, let's say, Quinta Elemental Shield, because one of the runestones is going to be get transformed. Trio, Equal Combo Shield, things like that. This one can bite you in the butt if the skill is still up. But if you have 5 attributes in the team, you can guarantee more attacking runes by turning all heart runes into the runestones of the leader's attribute. And say, if the leader has a fire to heart runestone possession effect, then technically you will not need heart runes, which is going to be super good. This is basically like a CD6 Heimdall or a CD6 Panda, depending on the team that you're running and the leader that you're running. So if you're running a rainbow team, he becomes a heart negator, and this means that your recover is going to tank because you don't have heart runes. But depending on the leader, this might not be a detriment, and also depending on the leader, this could be really good, because nowadays we also have leader skills that will benefit from not dissolving heart runes, and that's going to be really good. For example, Caesar. Not that you want to run this in Caesar because Caesar likes Mono Beast, but Caesar doesn't like heart runes because he has runestone possession effect for everything except heart runes as attacking runes. So you don't want heart runes for Caesar, so you could technically use this one for him. But in that case, just use Panda because Panda's a beast. That's fine. And then the activation effect is the skill -2 cooldown for himself. This allows you to activate him faster, and honestly, it's not bad. And explode one type of runestones to generate enchanted human runes. Kind of situation, kind of not that great, but the fact that you could potentially deactivate your skill before a neutralized reset and then have it available after their neutralized reset might also make it really useful. So overall, I do think that this is going to be a pretty good card. The only downside is that you're going to need 33 copies to get him to skill level max, which, you know, it's a challenge. But overall, not a bad card to have, especially if you can get him from other sources as well. Next we have the Battle Pass mission, which oh shoot, that's restarting already. I need to clear my Battle Pass. Oh well, yeah, we have a new Battle Pass with a new character, which is going to be Martian Maker, Catherine. CD6 Earth Human has the following effect: 1 round time tunnel effect. After dissolving runestones, all dropping. Oh that's so good. Will be adjacent according to their types. Wait, this is amazing. Not only do you get a CD6 time tunnel, but the sky drop is guaranteed in positions. That is so good. Like, literally, what this means is that you don't have to worry about Quintet Elemental Shield as long as you're lucky enough that you have all 5 attributes falling down from the sky. That's so good. Wow. Like, this also means that you can break Quintet Elemental Shield even if you only have two um even if you only have 2 attributes in your team or 2 attributes of runes in the board. Wait, you know what? This is going to be great for Tatsumaki, because Tatsumaki, your board is only going to be like Earth and Heart at some point. If you activate this, you get Time Tunnel, so you get to rearrange the perfect board of Earth, Heart, Earth, Heart, Earth, Heart, whatever. And then you get all dropping attributes uh, adjacently according to the types, and that's going to be one, give you a lot of combo, and also going to give you the other attributes if you need to break Quintet Elemental Shield. So this is a really good member for Tatsumaki, so definitely go ahead and get to level 40 on the battle pass to guarantee this card, and you can use Harpies to get her, because this skill is actually not that bad for a battle pass free card, or a free battle pass card. So definitely worth getting it, honestly. And then Premium Battle Pass, just the usual outfit and Dragonware. Dragonware, dude. Okay, this is Dragonware is kind of good because of the -2 skill cooldown reduction, but because it is behind a paywall, I don't feel great recommending it. But honestly, it is a pretty good Dragonware. Um, But yeah, if you're willing to shell out the money, but make sure that your financial stability comes first before you make any purchases in any game in general, basically. Oh, we have more? I thought we were. Damn, okay. Jailbreakers! I'm guessing this is a new series. So, just like the Crystal Octavius, this is going to be a new series, and we're potentially going to see multiple bi weekly cards, maybe an event card, arena, and then an ultimate stage card, maybe. But yeah, the first one of the series is going to be Trapping Jaws Armand, which is a water demon with a CD6 skill and a um, with the following effect: release the lock skill of the character, oh, just the character. Upon successful release, characters enters a hyper state for 3 rounds. Turn earth into heart, fire into water, and for 3 rounds the character launches 5 extra attacks. Okay, so honestly, not a bad skill. It's just that there are so many skills in the game nowadays that this skill does rank a little bit on the weaker side, because you only unlock your own skill. Um, you launch 5 extra attacks, but you don't have extra. Well, you have extra multiplier for the hyperstate, but the hyperstate is conditional. And if you don't encounter an enemy that locks your skills, then there's no hyperstate, there's no buff, and then these extra attacks are just gonna hit like a wet noodle. Um, what you want is 5 extra attacks with extra damage multiplier. Uh, but honestly, actually, yeah, these are 5 extra attacks at full power, not 30% power or 50% power. So actually, not that bad. Um, the conversion might be a little bit niche depending on what you have on your board, but for a water card, this is a pretty good convert because you can guarantee recovery and also attacking runes. So honestly, not a bad card by all means. CD6 is pretty standard nowadays, so it's a pretty fast skill. But there are a lot of cards in the game that you could use instead of using this card. Namely, a card that can release your entire team, because if you release your entire team, you can activate another more powerful effect and kill the enemy without having to rely on this card by himself if that happens. But yeah, there's so much more that I expected this week. I thought we were going to have a pretty tame week once I got to here. I thought, oh, we're done, because usually if the collaboration is done, then the news are done. But no, we do have a lot of Madhead original content coming our way, and that's actually pretty cool. But yeah, just to summarize, we are getting a new challenge mission for Garou, and he is going to be a pretty good member, so definitely make sure you get one copy at Dual Max. Definitely get his Dragonware because this is just a stat boosting item, non-conditional. Definitely just get it. It's pretty good. Then we have an event mission, which is Shatter the Meteor, where you can get free rewards if you trigger the Meteor minigame. So make sure you check that out when it comes out. And remember, One Punch Man is a collaboration, so you will need a VPN or you need to be in the following regions to be able to access it without a VPN. But yeah, we do have the Crystal of Tavia's ultimate stage with a pretty decent skill, but there are a lot of elves in the game now. We do have Lawson, which is the new Arena Redemption card, which has a pretty good active skill in my opinion. But I will say, people have been running Anubis less and less because nowadays there is more emphasis in countering enemy skills. So like Quintet Elemental Shield, Initial Shield, Fixed Combo Shield, or countering border hazards like Sticky, Burning, Electrify, things like that, where pure damage buffers are not seeing that much play. For example, Circe, Medea, Cassandra, they have seen a decrease in popularity because they only boost your damage instead of help you break certain boards. So for this card, yes, he does give you a pretty decent team-wide boost, but doesn't really provide much shield breaks utility, so he might also not see much use, but he is CD6. Honestly, it might be worth having him in your inventory just in case. Okay, next things we have the first time I'm ever excited about a battle pass card, because normally they're just kind of mid. This one is actually pretty good. CD6 time tunnel plus guaranteed arrangement of your sky drop is going to make her really good. And yeah, and next we have the Dragonware and a new series Jailbreakers with the first biweekly card coming out with a decent skill, but again, water demons or water cards in general have a lot of support, so you might not necessarily need to use this card unless you don't have any other options. But yeah, that's all for this week's GNN news. Again, I apologize for the delay in taking this one out. I have been traveling, so hopefully I get to settle down in the next few days and have a better setup for next week's GNN news. As always, let me know in the comments if I said anything wrong or if I missed anything, and check my YouTube channel for more Tower Saviors content. Now that I'm back home, I will be able to post more clearance videos and guides and things like that, so keep an eye out for those. For now, stay safe, stay healthy, and I will see you next time. Bye everyone!